Okay, are we ready?
Are ready to go?
The Barber Board is now in session. Would you do the prayer?
I will. Let us pray. In the name of Jesus, God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this board. We pray, God, that you will bless each and every one of us. Allow us to do your will and your way. In Christ's name.
Amen.
Do the pledge.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, I'm sure you've had time to go over the minutes. Oh, back up, roll call.
Donald Collins.
Larry High.
J.B. Loring.
Joe Jones.
Now, I'm sure you've all had a chance to go over the minutes, and if
Legal report in there with them.
Okay.
And these are marked, and I'll give you April next month. What nail tech position I haven't got.
okay, you've all had a chance now. You've had 30 seconds to go over the minutes. If there's any additions, deletions, then if not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes.
I'd like to second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carried. I think it's time now. We need to introduce we have a new director. You probably all know this, but it's time to introduce our new director. And I'm going to really go out on a limb. Her name is Roxana. I got that part right. Now, the last name is Gumacio. And our assistant commissioner, of course, he's visited with us several times, so we know him first name now.
Well, Mr. President and Commissioners, I am very excited to be here and introduce Roxana today. She is, I think, going to do a fantastic job. We did get a chance to have a meeting with JB week before last. He got to meet one-on-one and talk with. And as we talked about it, and as we've been giving you updates throughout since we made a change in the management and the board. The thing that was the most important to me was finding that person that we felt like keeps going out here and handle the administrative management side of it. You guys are the professionals. Y'all are the experts in your profession. You are handling the policy side. Our responsibilities are to make sure that we are providing you and your licensees efficient. Keeps turning off. Efficient administrative management. And Roxana has got a tremendous resume, and really, I don't think we could have asked for anybody to come in with a better variety of experience to walk into a position that's there's not really training to be an executive director of a barber or cosmetology board, but a cumulative experience, her cumulative experience, I think, is going to aid the department and the licensees and the board members very well. She really has a set of experience. So she's here. Today is her first day. She got here at 7 o'clock this morning, raring to go. So I told her, don't be surprised if you're the only one in the building.
I know why she got here so early, to get a parking place.
And I'll say real quick on the parking, we are working on that. I told President Loring, we're working on it. May not be in this parking lot, but my hope is that in the lot right behind here, on the other side of the tracks, that we're going to get some dedicated board member parking. I feel very strongly that you guys should not have to wonder every time you come over here where you're parking at. And we're working to get some assigned, dedicated board member parking, so every time you come, you know, here's where we go. It may be, 30 yards further than this lot, but it'll be the same, it'll be constant, consistent, and you won't have to worry about it. So, and I apologize again, I know we've had this conversation before, but moving over here has been there's been some confusion. We've had, as Rachel said, we've had several new departments move in also on top of our 2.5 floors from next door. So we had there's a lot more people in the building now, and there's no new parking. So everybody's fighting for the same space. We're waiting on general services to reassign here in the building. But anyway, Roxana's here. Certainly you guys are welcome to ask her some questions. She's going to be learning, and we're going to be learning from her too, I got a feeling. So I'm excited to introduce Roxana Gamusio as the new executive director of the Board of Barber Examiners.
Thank you, and thank you so much, Commissioner. I'm very excited to be here. I'm excited to learn from Rachel. She's just done an amazing job, so I'm looking forward to knowing what it is I'm supposed to say and do and staying on top of things. So you're welcome to call me for any questions that you've got, ideas. I love the opportunity for change and improvement. So once I get my bearings and know what I'm doing, I'll look forward to chatting with each of you. Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you. And we've got to say a word about Rachel. Rachel, we're going to miss you. You've done an excellent job. You've been great for the board.
Yeah.
You've been accommodating, pleasant to work with, and we will miss you, even though we've got another good replacement. So.
And that's exactly what I was going to say too. I was going to acknowledge Rachel, and I will quell your fears. You're not going to. She's not moving. She's not going anywhere. She will still be here, and she'll still be visible. She will be helping Roxana. You will probably continue to see her at the board meetings for a period of time, and even after, she may come down and help. So she's still very much a part of the department, very much a part of administration, and she has done a fantastic job. And she has worked 12-hour days. She is many times the last person in the department to leave the building, and all trying to get these two programs back on track and prepared and ready for a new director. And she's done an amazing job, and I'm very thankful. Appreciate you saying that too.
Now I know why she's the last one to leave. She can't find her car.
You just have to make friends with somebody who's good enough to get a spot under the building to take you back to your car.
Right. Okay. We're off to a good start. Now, next is on the agenda, first board appearance.
Well, we actually just did that. The Assistant Commissioner, Giannini, was going to introduce That's our only board appearance. Next week.
Okay. The
First-
administrative report, yes.
Yes. First up in the administrative report is school applications. We have an application for the Barber School from Taurus Brooks. Is everybody on their iPad? Okay, perfect. The school provided the application and their payment and a floor plan, and the school will need to be inspected by...
Mine's blank. Wrong button. I've got channel 5. No, I've got a blank. There, now.
But it's going blank. Our board on it, but it's going blank.
Blank. Got Barber board on it, but that's all.
All Right.
Okay.
Mr. Brooks has provided his application for a new barber school and the payment. And last month, this application was presented to the board, and the board reviewed the application and voted to table it until a better floor plan was provided. The updated floor plan is attached. A total of 3,840 square feet. There's a laundry room, a break area, classrooms, offices, adequate restrooms. They show the square footage in between the shampoo bowls and the sinks. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the barber chairs. They've got a great little key down at the bottom. How everything's labeled.
Oh, there's something, maybe it's the electronics here, but this thing, see, there's nothing on it.
Yeah, there's something happening when you're in that area. I don't know what.
Got Hotmail and,
You've hit something. You need to be right here.
and now,
There we go. There we go.
if no questions, do we need approval?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have any questions? If not,
Good.
we're ready for a motion.
I'd like to make motion that we accept is it the license approval?
Yes, it's a school application.
I make the motion that we accept the school application.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further conversation about this? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any disapprovals? The ayes have it, motion carried.
We'll need to set up. This school is located in Memphis for a board member to go and inspect. Okay, perfect.
Right there, just have him to make the appointment, and you'll let me know, Rachel?
Absolutely.
Good, very good.
Am I hitting something wrong on this? It's gone blank again.
Press the bottom button, the home button.
Yeah, I'm not hitting anything on the bottom, but now we've got back on the,
What did she hit on there? She hit something down
That's
there.
right here,
Yeah.
to
Okay.
bring up
To
this.
bring up there. And
But
then take one of those to bring up the other.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one she.
Which
Oh, it's the
one?
books.
Book. The book.
iBooks. Looks like an open book.
Okay, we're back now. Look,
Then you're going to have it all by yourself.
No, it's something happening.
It didn't work?
okay, now it's
Just do
going.
one finger as you scroll through.
Yeah.
Application for examination.
That'll be next. Next, we have applications for examination for the Master Barber examination from Andre Anthony, from Latavius Bailey, from David Hillen, from Antoine Kent, and Jewel Smith, Reginald Travis, Eddie Turner, and Denny Wilburn. They all have felonies, and they were received by the board office. All the required information is submitted, including the disclosure from the student and a letter of examination recommendation, and we just need a motion to approve with a signed agreed order with a 2-year probationary period.
I can make a motion that we accept the application, but we'll put them on a 2-year probation as we are.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second it?
We have a second. Any further conversation on this one? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried.
We are now on page 37, and with applications for reciprocity, the application for reciprocity of a master barber license from Eddie Gurdian with 1,500 hours of instruction in the barber curriculum at the Puerto Rico Barber College in Puerto Rico is enclosed. Mr. Gurdian also provided a transcript of the hours and a certificate of licensure from the Auxiliary Secretary of Boards of Examiners in Puerto Rico, and he has been licensed as a master barber since 2007. My recommendation is that his application be approved for reciprocity.
Okay, board members, we need a motion.
Okay, graduated with 1,500. We have proof of this 1,500. We got proof of that, right?
Yes, his transcript is attached. Also has a certificate attached, which shows it as well.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the application.
We have a motion to accept the application for reciprocity. Do we have a second?
I second it.
We have a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried.
Next, we have an application for reciprocity of another master barber license from Gary Bucarelli with 1,872 hours of instruction in the barber curriculum at the University of Barber Styling in Joliet, Illinois. Mr. Bucarelli also provided a certificate of licensure from North Carolina, and he's been a licensee since 2005 and a shop manager since 2006. My recommendation is that he be approved for a master barber license by reciprocity.
Right, we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
Make the motion that we accept his application.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried.
Next, we have an application for reciprocity of a master barber license from Artiles Gonzalez with 1,500 hours of instruction in the barber curriculum at Benedict Schools in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Mr. Gonzalez has provided a letter relative to work history, a transcript, and a certificate of licensure from the Auxiliary Secretary of Boards of Examiners in Puerto Rico, and he has been licensed since 1989. My recommendation is that he be approved for reciprocity.
We have a recommendation on this candidate. Do we have a motion?
I move we accept this recommendation.
We have a motion to accept the recommendation. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried.
Next on the administrative report, we have seminar extension request. The first is a request from Hanalai Harris for an extension from the 2012 instructor seminar due to annual National Guard training from May 6th, 2012 through October 20th, 2012. Mr. Harris provided a copy of his orders. Last attended in 2010.
Ready for a motion?
Make motion that we approve his extension of the original orders from the military.
We have a motion for the extension. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carried.
Next, we have a request for an extension from the 2013 instructor seminar for Patricia Hunt due to health issues. Ms. Hunt has provided a note from her physician regarding her upcoming surgery that will prevent her from attending any of the 2013 seminars. I believe she has provided a note as well. The physician says one day, if you look on page 70 is the physician's note from Campbell Clinic. It says from 5/8/2013 to the present, and she's able to return to work on, I missed on 5/9/2013. So that seemed to be a little confusing to me. Campbell's Clinic is an orthopedic clinic. I'm familiar with it. It's located in Memphis. Should we request that she provide additional information?
Determine whether a physician actually wrote this or not.
When will the seminar, what are the dates of the seminar?
There's 2 in June, 1 in July, and 1 in August.
Okay.
So when we meet again in June, she should have gotten our letter and be able to provide us the additional information before the seminar dates all pass.
So the one in Memphis, the University of Memphis, is in June, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. Hopefully she'll have the information in by then prior to that. Okay.
If she sends the information, would y'all like to give me approval to go ahead and extend her if it's sufficient information, or do you want to wait for it to come back before the board in June? Because the continuing education date will be June 8th and 9th, or 9th.
That would be before the board meeting.
Right, which is before the board meeting.
I think if she's sending the right information, we could go on and pass it. We would use your decision, but we would.
Okay, so if you could just make a motion for her to provide additional information, if sufficient, to give me the authority to approve that on the record, that would be
I
perfect.
can make a motion that she present us some more information.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'd second it.
Any further discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carried.
Next, we have consent orders totaling $250. We just need a motion to approve entry of those consent orders.
Motion to approve the consent.
Make a motion that we approve the consent orders of $250.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carried.
Now we're on to the legal report.
As we start the legal report, again, if you have any questions, bring forth the question on the case, and we can take it up after going through the entire agenda. Otherwise, we'll just approve or disapprove the entire agenda at one time.
And, Mr. Chairman, just for the record, Rachel just handed you an additional item for the legal report that came up after these reports were uploaded to the iPads. I'd been working with counsel for the respondent in this matter, and he had just got back to me, so I wanted to try and be sure and get that before this board, as opposed to waiting until next month. and it is a matter the board has previously reconsidered, and I will address that when I get to that item. There are 6 items on the legal report on your iPad. This is numbered number 7, so we'll go through that at the end. And with your permission, Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead and present the legal report. Item number 1, the notice of violation alleges that the inspection sheet was not posted in a licensed barbershop. The inspector states that the shop owner's master barber license was expired. According to the notice, the inspector observed several sanitation violations, including but not limited to dirty floors, workstations, mirrors, restroom, shampoo area, and trash containers, and also found no barber sink, shampoo bowl. The board office records indicate that the shop owner's license was renewed on 3/16/13. Recommendation is a consent order with a $250 civil penalty. Item number 2, notice of violation alleges that the area inspector observed a master barber, also the owner of the shop, servicing a client with a haircut while his barber license was expired and also not displayed at the shop. The inspector also noted several sanitation violations on the inspection sheet, including but not limited to no covered container for the trash, unclean bar, sanitary workstation, and unclean floors. Board office records indicate that the shop owner's license was renewed on 3/16/13. Recommendation is a consent order with a $250 civil penalty. Item number 3, notice of violation alleges that the that the area inspector observed an unclean workstation with no license posted in a licensed barbershop. The inspector also observed broken furniture, unclean workstations, back bar, mirrors, wet sterilizers, and tools, and further found a workstation without an ultraviolet sanitizer. Authorized formal hearing, recommendation for consent order with $250 civil penalty. On number 3, I might also suggest that the board amend that to include a follow-up inspection to see if some of the violations listed in there are fixed. Item number 4, the notice of violation alleges that the area inspector observed 3 licensed master barbers practicing on clients and another 2 individuals practicing without a master barber license in an unlicensed barber shop. The board previously authorized a cease and desist advisory notice against the shop at its December 2006 meeting. Recommendation is a consent order with a $500 civil penalty, and if this shop continues to not have a shop license, it either needs to cease and desist or obtain a shop license. Item number 5, notice of violation alleges that the area inspector observed an unsanitary workstation, uncovered trash and dirty wet sanitizer, and also found tools improperly stored in a licensed barber shop. Given the respondent's lack of prior complaint history, a letter of warning is recommended, and that is the recommendation. Item number 6, the notice of violation alleges that the area inspector observed the owner of a shop practicing on a client's hair with an expired master barber license in an unlicensed barber shop. The inspector also states that the shop is unclean, although no details were provided. The board previously authorized a cease and desist advisory notice against the respondent for operating an unlicensed barber shop at its February 2013 meeting, which obviously was not complied with. Recommendation is for a consent order and a $500 civil penalty. And then item number 7, that was just handed to you by Ms. Powers. This complaint was previously considered by the board at its February 2013 meeting. The complaint alleges that the respondent was practicing in a barber shop with an expired shop license and that the shop was moved to a new location without proper inspection and approval. The investigation revealed that the respondent was previously issued a notice of violation on 4/12/2011 for changing the shop's location without first submitting an application for inspection and approval of the new location. Because the board's records indicated that the shop had been closed for business, the board decided to close and flag the file at its February 2012 meeting. At the February 2013 meeting for this current complaint, the board authorized settlement by consent order with a payment of a $500 civil penalty by the respondent. Upon receipt of the consent order, The respondent immediately brought its shop license current and then had an inspector perform an inspection of the shop at its new location, passing that inspection with a score of 100. The respondent, through his attorney, requests leniency from the board in the amount of the civil penalty on the grounds that this is the respondent's first disciplinary action before the board, and that the respondent promptly complied with all board conditions to remedy the violations set forth in the complaint. The request is a reduction of the amount of the civil penalty from $500 to $250. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my legal report, and I'll be glad to entertain any questions on the report.
The outline of the infractions, I'm of the opinion that 1, 2, 3, and 4 should be $500. Number 5 should be at least $250. Now, that's my opinion. We can have board discussion on that.
Number 4. Mr. Chairman, are you saying that number 4, I think the attorney is recommending that $500 civil penalty? Is that the recommendation of the?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, number 4, you had mentioned number 1 through 4 you thought should be at least $500. Number 4 was already recommended for $500. Numbers 1 through 3 were recommended for $250.
Make all 1 through 4 $500. That's was my thinking. Now it's up to the board to.
I'd like to ask a question on number 4.
Sure.
Those violations alleged that the area inspector observed 3 licensed master barbers practicing on a client. They was licensed, is that correct? And 2 other individuals practicing without a master barber. Okay, I understand it now. Okay. Now the board previously authorized a cease and desist advisory notice against the shop in this December meeting, and they were still practicing in the shop. Is that correct?
Well, looking at the dates listed on there, Mr. Collins, I believe what happened is after the last time that this shop was before the board, they did reinstate because if you'll note, the license expiration date is 1/31 of 2009. So what that means is subsequent to that 2006 cease and desist advisory, because that says cease and desist unless you have a license. And so most likely what happened is they came back and got reinstated into good standing, but then their next renewal period came and went and they never renewed. And it's just kind of been hanging out there until, since that time, and probably now has just come up in the inspection rotation to figure out what's been going on.
The health and sanitation on some of these is just appalling to me, when that's got to be our main objective, is health and sanitation.
Well, and Mr. Chairman, as I suggested on one of these, if it's the board's will, then it can also be added that a follow-up inspection be done to confirm that the
health and sanitation, they should all have follow-up inspections.
Yeah.
I have a question on number 1.
Yes, sir.
You have the inspector observed, also found no barber bowl. Was there no bowl at all there? Was there no bowl at all, period, there? And then in parentheses, you got shampoo bowl.
I'll be honest, Mr. Jones, I would probably have to ask the inspector about that, because some of these things with which I'm maybe less familiar than others, when in doubt, I kind of transcribe directly from the notice of violation so that I don't misquote the inspector. But just reading the language that was transcribed, I'm assuming that means exactly what it sounds like, that this,
No sink?
yeah, that it just,
Period.
it just wasn't there.
Yeah, okay.
On number 5, I can understand a letter of warning if this was his first time If the inspector goes back and basically find the same thing, then I would recommend a $250 fine. But if all his license is up to date and everything, and if this is his first time, I can go along with the letter of warning. But I'm totally with JB on that. This sanitation thing is very. Previous complaints about the same thing, I recommend the $250 right now. So I don't know about.
Well, for this particular licensee, I do know this is their first time before the board on that one. We had that looked up before I made that recommendation. So for that one, it would a letter of warning, subject to follow-up inspection confirming fixed sanitation violations from the last inspection, and if that happens, then they get a letter of warning. But if the inspector goes back and the same things are there, then we do the $250 civil penalty.
Right.
These shops that's unclean and unsanitized, did the chairman make a request that?
Yes. All of them that have to do with health and sanitation should be re-inspected.
But you see, this is one of the reasons why I'm totally for this apprentice license, because you're taught all of these things before you go out into the world and open up your own shop. You're taught sanitation and all from the older barbers. That's why I'm totally for the apprenticeship that we once had in the state of Tennessee.
Looking at number 7. Previously, the consent order was $500 civil penalty.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now he moved his shop, the owner moved his shop without any notification to the board. Is that correct?
It appears that way, yes, sir. And once they got notice of this, they did have the inspection, and
once they realized that the board had gotten notified of all the violations, I don't see no reason why we should decrease the civil penalty from $500 to $250. I think we just let's stay where it is. That would be my recommendation.
perfectly acceptable if that's the board's will. It's typically when we have, especially with this program, respondents who retain counsel, it's kind of rare. There are other programs where attorneys are more frequent. So, I mean, at least as a courtesy professional to professional, if an attorney asks me to present some sort of counter proposal to the board, as long as it's reasonable and in the ballpark and not outlandish, as a courtesy, I will make that presentation. And if the board asks me my opinion about it, I'll certainly give it. But at the same time, it's not a requirement that the board accept any or all of these things. It's just kind of an explanation on why this particular item is back before you.
That would be self-explanatory, not to move your salon, your shop, without prior notification and a proper procedure of being able to do that. And simply because you now have an attorney, that we should decrease the amount of civil penalty. But I'm not in agreement with that. Of course, whatever the board, but I'm just not in agreement with that. So.
Why don't we take these one at a time again, just on the fee, and see if we want to leave the fee like it is, or the.
I have a question first, though. Is it against regulation to move your shop? I thought that you could move your shop, but before you open, you order the inspection. I think that's
the problem here. They had moved and opened before they ever sent
that is a
before they
problem.
ever
That's a big
sent
problem.
a request for a change.
They had
of
moved the
location.
shop,
Yeah, that's a big
and had
problem.
opened up a business.
Right. See, the inspector would know
Yeah,
if
that's
they
a
had
big
changed
problem.
because the inspector's the one who opens them when
Right.
they do their change of location. So
Exactly.
if he goes into somewhere and they're not there anymore, then he says, where are they? And then, a couple days later, a couple miles down the street, he sees and goes in and knows it's the same people in the old location. Then he writes them that notice of violation for failure to provide the board office with change of location, or he either writes them for unlicensed shop, which in most cases, because it's their same area, he'll know if they've been open at a different location before, and he can write them for that because they're still licensed, but that license doesn't register them to that location.
My recommendation,
Let's start with number one
Okay.
and go through and see if we want to leave the fee like it is or increase it. And number one, as you can see the violations in number one, the sanitation, health and sanitation, strong there. My recommendation is $500. Now, the board, let's decide on each one without a motion, and if we can do it all in one motion, we'll do it then.
Mr. Chairman, I think you can go, because we could take your suggestion as a motion that the items 1 through 3 on the legal report increase the proposed civil penalty from $250 to $500, plus a follow-up inspection. So if you'd like to make that in the form of a motion and try to get a second and then a vote, then we could do it that way.
Okay, and I'd rather the board, a member of the board, make the motion and second.
Sure.
If they so choose.
So the motion would be to increase the civil penalty from $250 to $500, along
On
with
1,
the-
2, and 3.
on 1, 2, and
1,
3,
2, and
with
3.
a follow-up inspection. I'd like to
Yes.
make the motion that the board accept that. I'd like to make the motion that we do that.
Okay, now, were you going to change number 7? Look at number 7.
We need a second and a vote for
Never.
those.
Do what?
We need a second and a vote for that motion.
Okay, well, I thought we could
Oh, no.
incorporate 7, it'd be the same thing, raise it or not.
Well, he just made the motion.
Okay,
Right.
we have a motion, do we have a second?
wait a minute, on number 7,
We can discuss after we get the second.
Okay.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I second the motion.
We have a second.
1, 2,
Now,
and 3.
discussion.
Now, after they had moved the shop, they was actually cutting hair before the inspection. The inspector found them operating, is that correct? Yes. Well, if that's true, I'm totally for that $500 fine, leave it where it is. I go along with that.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carried on a change of fee on 1, 2, 3.
3.
Now, 4 is already 500. 5, look at number 5. And I'm also suggesting number 5 be a $500 penalty.
No, I disagree with that.
Okay.
Well, let's do number 4 first, because it seems there might be some agreement there. So
Okay.
do a motion to approve number 4 as written with a $500 civil penalty, except that the follow-up inspection be added.
Okay. Do we have a
I'd like to
motion
make
for number 4?
I'd like to make a motion that we leave the civil penalty as it is, $500, along with a follow-up inspection.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
That's second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carried. Now to number 5.
I believe where we were was Mr. Hyde had proposed a letter of warning contingent on a satisfactory follow-up sanitation inspection. However, if the follow-up inspection does not show fixed violations, then it would be a $250 civil penalty. And if you'd like to make that in the form of a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we give him, which you already have, a letter of warning. And if the inspectors go back by and find these same things, then we will fine him $250.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second it.
The further discussion, the reason I suggested $500 penalty is because of the health and sanitation of this shop. And I think it's outrageous. But, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? One. Motion carried. Now, we're on number 6, and all we need is a motion to approve in number 6, if you agree.
Make the motion that we accept the civil penalty of $500 requested by the attorney.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carried. Now to number 7.
Chairman, I believe the motion previously discussed was by Mr. Hyde to leave the $500 civil penalty previously proposed by the board in place.
On number 6.
This will be number 7, the additional
and
item.
number 7. Okay, we don't need another motion.
No, we already did that. On 7,
Need a second and a vote.
I second
Okay.
it.
need a second.
Need a second and a vote.
Second.
I second it.
Any further discussion?
This is on number 7, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
If
And
not,
it will be
all in-
increased to $500.
No, that it would stay.
It would stay at
Stay
$500.
at
Okay,
$500.
thank you.
Stay at
Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carried. Now,
That's it for the administrative report. We don't have anything under the miscellaneous, so all our business is done unless the board has anything.
Now, we have Mr. Brooks in the audience of the Barber School.
okay,
Come forward. He'll come forward.
Brooks, give us some words of wisdom.
Good morning. I just come up to the board to be available if you had any questions with the floor plan that we submitted. Last board meeting, they had some questions, and they suggested maybe I be here just in case. So if you guys have any questions that you may want me to answer, I'm here for you.
You're way ahead. We've approved it.
The floor plan looks very good.
Okay.
Yeah, the floor plan was very good. And of course, Rachel, Attorney Rachel, she will be notifying me, and of course, I will be there to give you a
Okay, I will let you know when we're ready for
good.
inspection. We're not ready yet.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I
Appreciate you attending the board meeting.
Thank you, guys.
And Mr. Brooks, before you take your seat, I just want to say that the school in Jackson is doing real well, and a lot of people have been talking about it, and we're just happy that you have that school in Jackson area. And we're students. And the flyers that was out during the Strawberry Festival, I've got copies of that, and my wife was there. And she enjoyed talking to one of the instructors, I think, and one that was passing out the flyers. And it was really a good idea, that what you did. We're hoping that you continue on. And I'll be visiting you again sometime soon.
Okay, thank you.
I'm disappointed you didn't let us know about the Strawberry Festival. Okay.
What other young man?
Do we have any other
Is he
guests?
with him? He's with you, okay.
Yeah. If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjourn.
Before we do that, I'd like to, again, thank Ms. Roxanne for taking on the position. And certainly I personally welcome you to this board and look forward to working with you. Very good.
We're not going to ask your night home phone number now. We'll just do all our business during the day. We'll wake you up at night. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know my phone was on. I'm
That
sorry.
don't beat all.
I didn't know it was on. I'm sorry. I usually turn it off before I come to meeting.
Listen to all these excuses.
This is true.
Okay,
That's business.
we need a motion for adjournment.
I make the motion that we adjourn.
We need a second.
I'll second.
No further discussion. We'll go. It's just the governor. Hang up.
It's just the governor.
Yeah, we have.